look forward to spending the night there and having coffee with my grandson.
How much has this period of time between spring and fall changed for you over the years?
Well, yeah, the football part hasn't changed really in 20-some years, but obviously the world we're living in is a little different than it used to be. So some of the discussions you have with players, a little different tone than they used to. But it still gets down to the basics. But, you know, we're lucky. We got really good guys on our team, and I think overall things have been pretty steady.
The retention numbers for you, kind of obviously this year is weird with the cut down to 105, but in general, over the last few years, you've had much better retention numbers than a lot of other Big Ten programs. What do you attribute that to, and what do you think it says about the program?
I think it's two things. I mean, hopefully we've got an environment that's healthy, and the other part is you have to get the right guys in that environment. And I think our staff's done a really good job of identifying guys that will fit in our program and be able to thrive and grow and flourish, hopefully. So that's a big component of it. Is just getting the right guys, and we try to be as transparent as we can in recruiting. Let players know what it's going to be like when they get there and what the goals are and those types of things. So if you're lucky enough to get guys, the right guys, then things tend to work pretty well. And then if not, not so well sometimes. And there's no perfect matches totally, but we've been pretty fortunate. And then I'm only smirking a little while ago only because of the 105 thing, and it's amazing. I think up to the 30th now, right? April 30th, and we still don't know what the rules are, what rosters are going to look like, and all that. So hopefully we'll get some notice here soon, but hopefully what we did in December doesn't backfire on us. It may.
How were you having those conversations with players? Are you giving them the option to stick around, or are you having to cut players now?
Yeah, well, we did that. We did all that stuff in December.
Okay.
Just I thought out of fairness to our players. And so when I heard it might be retroactive or grandfathered, which sounded like a good idea months ago, when that came up again, it's really kind of unfortunate because there's some guys that we'd love to have on our team right now that are elsewhere, and it was for their benefit. So I don't think we're going to be able to get them back, unfortunately. We'll figure it out, but it's not the end of the world. Just would have been nice to have that information a couple months ago.
Are there still a couple guys though? I mean, are you at 108, 109,
We had a small, not even a handful, but a couple guys chose to stay knowing that there was no guarantees. So, if the judge decides that, the numbers are going to be bigger than 105, and, those guys potentially have a home, which is good for them. But it was a risk they chose to take.
Now that Ty Hudkins and Jeremy Haklitsky, now that they've signed, kind of what kind of stood out to you about each of those guys as you're recruiting them?
Yeah, we're thin a little bit in the back end in the secondary, so we've signed two guys now and feel good about both those guys. One's younger, one's older, so I think they'll come in and most importantly compete. And at that position, even if they don't end up being stars, if they do, that's great. But if they don't, they'll be involved in special teams, and we play more than one guy at that position, obviously. So I think they're going to have a chance when they get in to try to carve out a role. And then on the quarterback part of things, it just adds to more competition. And in a perfect world, the world's hardly perfect, but it'd be great if we could get back to not having to go looking for a quarterback in the portal. It seems to be a really popular thing right now, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we'd rather at all positions be growing guys at home and getting guys ready from that standpoint.
What influence did Warren have on Jeremy, just with his experience?
Real big. We weren't necessarily looking, but Warren brought his name up, and I'm not sure what the situation was at Wake, but Jeremy became available when the portal chose to. Warren recruited him and knew him, and then the most important part is Warren knows our guys too. He's been there long enough now to know our program, so he was confident that Jeremy would be a really good fit with our team. And Hank's already done a great job, and you got Jackson, you got Jimmy, so it's going to be hopefully a really healthy room, healthy competition, and hopefully we'll have a good 1-2-3 punch when we come out of camp next August, and see how it all shakes out. In a perfect world, that's what's going to happen.
You guys have a pretty good-sized portal class. I know some of it's just need-based, but is the way that you look at the portal now different than 2-3 years ago, or is it the same?
Yeah, prior to this period, we were lowest in the Big Ten. I think Penn State was right behind us. We were 5 and 6 in terms of bringing guys in, and two things I think factored into it. Number one thing is that we let our guys go back in December. At least we gave them an option to let them know that we didn't have a guarantee. So that factored in a couple of injuries. So all of a sudden we were down a little bit, and so we're just trying to fortify a couple spots. And I think we've done a good job of that. But we're still probably on the low end in the conference. And I didn't study it, but somebody just put a new sheet on my desk. I think we picked up 2-2. I think if I'm not mistaken. Or 2-3, anyway. They're counting the long snapper as a defensive player on the list I've got. And I noticed one of the teams, I didn't look at all of them, but I noticed one's like at 21 or 22, something like that. So I'm guessing when it all shakes out, we'll still be at the low end of everything.
Josh Sash is here tonight. We got a chance to talk to him. What are your memories of recruiting Tyler in high school?
Yeah, I got a story for that one. Actually, it might be interesting, but the first thing I thought of, I knew Josh was going to be here tonight, and I still go back to that Indiana game. And we were in trouble. We were in serious trouble in that game, and that's the craziest play maybe I've ever seen in my life. And then, all of a sudden, it looks like we're going to lose a game, and Tyler's running down for a touchdown. So, what a great play. The thing I remember about Josh, actually, Tyler, was, I guess they were in 7th grade. They were playing in some little tournament, and I think it was in Sigourney, and our son James was playing against Tyler's team, and I went back to work on Monday. I told her, I think I saw the next Steve Alford in 7th grade, right? It was Matt Gatens. One of James's teammate was Matt Gatens. Obviously, he's a pretty good basketball player. There was a first-round draft pick in baseball on that team, and then James, 3 guys that have had pretty good careers. And on the other team, Tyler's team, they beat James's team 39-35, I think, and I think Tyler had like 35 of the 39 points. So, I was like, who is this guy? I thought he was going to be a basketball phenom. Little did I know 5 years later we're going to recruit him as a football player. But, just tremendous young guy, good athlete, obviously, and tremendous young guy, and came in and did a great job for us.
Coach, what have you done differently this off-season? What's felt different compared to other seasons?
Last question, Coach.
Yeah, really not a heck of a lot, other than, we're just dealing with the portal and revenue sharing and all that kind of stuff. But, we've put a lot of time into that and a lot of thought into it, and I think it's working out well so far. It's really the first time it's been presented in this way. But again, the crazy part is we still don't know at this time if, in fact, that's going to be our reality or not. So we've invested a lot of time in it. Hopefully we're doing things the right way and all that. But, overall, the mode of operation really hasn't been a lot different. And spring football is still spring football. It's a really good time to be on the field coaching, and it's an enjoyable time. Really not a lot different other than some of the peripheral stuff. And there's always peripheral stuff. You just don't know what it's going to be, which size or form it's going to look like.
How does it make you feel when it's in blue?
What?
That it's kind of in blue, that it's really uncertain. How does it make you feel?
Well, uncertain. That's it. And I think we all like to know what the rules are going to be, or what the direction is going to be. And but we've been living in a period of flux now for several years, in my opinion. So it really can't get a lot worse, other than just by prolonging this. It's not helping anything, and we are going to have to get it under control. Where bad things are going to happen here eventually, and we've also seen some evidence of stuff that it's hard to make sense of. But hopefully we'll get this wrapped up soon.
When's the next ruling? Are you supposed to know something Monday, or?
I've heard Friday.